Okay, I am live. Is there anyone in the room waiting, and can you hear me? There are some people in the room. I'm not seeing anybody in the chat. All right, Young Stacks, welcome. You can hear me. Good. We are Pro Wrestling. Welcome aboard. You can hear me. Good. Okay, sounds great. How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, thanks for being willing to stay up with me late to do this. This was literally the only time this weekend I could do it. So gonna be happy to knock this out. Let me go ahead and send a notice on Twitter that I've begun. All right. All right. Yeah. For those of you wondering, the beer fest that I went to was great. I did not get drunk. I'm actually completely sober and in complete control of my faculties as we speak, which is good. All right. Okay, so before we get started with the final Saturday night's main event of 1992, the last one on Fox, and the last episode of Saturday night's main event for almost a decade and a half, I do want to cover a couple of things, mainly, oh, what is that? Just got a big notice on my Twitter. Let me just turn those off. Okay. I do want to give a little bit of additional clarification for those of you who saw my video that I posted at 3 o'clock this morning. And I gave the notice about the Wrestlemania live stream series that I'm going to be doing, where you all will be allowed to vote on which Wrestlemania matches I watch during this live streaming series that I'm going to be doing. I explained in the video that I'm going to watch 2 matches from every single WrestleMania, one that I pick and one that you guys pick through the voting polls. The link to the Google Doc is in the description down below. You can vote on what WrestleMania matches you want me to live stream, react to, review, and give my opinions on after rewatching them again. And if you have not voted, you have until February 1st of 2019 to make your vote. So plenty of time to get your votes in. I just want to make sure that the reason I'm doing this so early is that I just want to make sure I've got all the technical glitches worked out and that the polls work okay and that everybody's up to speed on the system. So plenty of time to iron out any issues that may arise. But for right now, you've got until February 1st, 2019 to put in your votes. And that will be that. Now, a couple of additional clarifications I didn't quite make clear in the video that I want to make clear here. The polls themselves will only have 5 options, so you're not going to get to vote from the full list of matches from WrestleMania. In most cases, that doesn't really matter all that much. In very few cases where there are ones where I was kind of deciding, oh, should I do this one or this one? I tried to pick the top 5 most important matches and the one that I picked. So really, I tried to pick the top 6 most important matches from each WrestleMania to make sure that they were covered. And in the poll, I haven't run into any problems with people complaining that matches were left off or anything. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. I tried to pick the most important matches from each show by and large. And so, yeah, I want to make that clear. There's only going to be 5 options per poll. You're not going to be selecting from the full card. Want to make that clear. In the event of a tie, I want to make that clear as well. In the event of a tie, like let's say if 2 matches tie or 3 matches tie or 4 or even all 5, I will just go ahead and watch all of them. There will be no tiebreaker. I'll just go ahead and watch all the matches. So no problem there. So that is that. Eating Cheerios and drinking Coca-Cola. All right, awesome. You're going to regret giving people voting rights on this. Oh, I know I am, especially when it comes to WrestleMania 22. I know. I knew it right after I posted it. I'm like, wait. Oh, shit. They're all going to vote for Cena and Triple H, aren't they? And, yeah. HBK Jericho from 19. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jericho and HBK, that was the match that I picked. So I'm going to be watching that one regardless of how the poll goes. Do pre-show matches count? No. No pre-show matches were included on any of the polls. No. Oreos and milk. That sounds great. God, I haven't had Oreos in so long. I've been dieting for almost a year. I have not had Oreos in almost a year. And that used to be like a daily food for me. I was quite the fat child. So, okay. So any questions about the WrestleMania live stream and, any complaints of like how the polls work or anything like that? And if anything comes up, just send me a tweet or whatever, or post a comment in the description. Yeah, Jericho HBK is a favorite of mine too. That's one of the reasons I picked it. One of the reasons I decided to do 2 matches from each Mania, one that I picked and one that you picked, I wanted to make sure that there was at least one match that I enjoyed. So, because I think a lot of people are going to get like perverse with this and like, oh, let's make them watch the worst one. And I was like, all right, at least I'm going to get to watch one match that I enjoy from each WrestleMania. Do you feel ashamed of having that banner in your background? No, you support your team through thick and thin. I'm not ashamed, although they should be ashamed of the way they play. That Thursday night game was hideous, except for Saquon Barkley. That dude's a fucking stud. I love him. Oh, it'll be fun. Boy, is it going to be fun reliving some of those. So, still want a Jets banner. I think if you want a Jets like Man Cave banner, I think you can get one. I forget where I got mine, but I got it from an online store where I think they had one of those for every team. So, if you're so inclined, you can just probably type Jets Man Cave banner into Google and find it somewhere. But anyway, before I get into the live streaming of Saturday night's main event and Clash of the Champions, which very interesting episodes this week. We're going to be getting the mega powers in the main event of the Clash of the Champions, which, oh my God, is that bizarre, if nothing else, which also features quite an infamous spot, which I can't wait to talk about that when it comes up. But before we get to all that fun stuff, do want to review all the wrestling shows I watched this week. I did not get the opportunity to watch Impact Wrestling this week. I've been kind of bored with the Mexico episodes, and I'm just kind of waiting for Bound for Glory. So I haven't watched that. But I did watch Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, and NXT. This week's NXT was excellent, mainly for the main event, the 3-way match for the North American Championship. I thought that match was absolutely stellar, outstanding match. And if you haven't seen it, go out of your way to watch it. I think it was outstanding and great. And it's almost a shame that it didn't get saved for a takeover. But I think all of those guys are going to be in the War Games match at the next takeover, which is why we've been getting matches like Pete Dunne and Ricochet and this 3-way that we just had. And, the tag titles are going to be on the line next week. So I think they're doing a lot of these matches on TV because most of those guys are going to be in the War Games match come the next takeover. But Mega Pow cease and desist. Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, really loved NXT this week. And again, go out of your way to see that 3-way. It was excellent. I also liked some of the development where Nikki Cross is implying that she knows who attacked Aleister Black and what they could potentially do with that. I thought the opening segment with Ciampa and Velveteen Dream and Nikki ran a little too long, but overall I do like the idea that she's like this crazed lunatic that knows the thing that everybody wants to know, and she's kind of like poking fun at people. I think it's kind of fun. But anyway, so that was NXT. Ring of Honor, the October 5th episode. I watched that yesterday and had some good matches on it. I like the tag match, Coast to Coast versus the Kingdom. Nice, solid match that perpetuates the angle that the Kingdom feels there's a conspiracy against them. I thought Marty Scurll and the Hurricane had a great match. I'm not a fan of the Hurricane going over because Marty is one of the hottest acts out there right now, and the Hurricane is so far past like the point of relevance that it just seems ridiculous that he would go over Marty Scurll. But I know they had a rematch at Glory by Honor. I have not seen Glory by Honor yet, so it was probably done just to set up a rubber match between the two at the event. But overall, I thought it was a good match between the two, regardless of me disagreeing with the outcome. And the Fight Without Honor, Cheeseburg and Will Ferrara, I thought was a solid match. Pretty good, basic, hardcore stuff. I like the finish with Cheeseburger using the Jushin Thunder Liger palm strike with a chain wrapped around his hand to put away Will Ferrara. I thought that was cool. So good matches this week. Not like the most stellar episode or anything like that, but just some good solid matches. And if that's all you want, then check out that show. I thought it was good. And I thought this week's Lucha Underground was awesome. And you should all go check that out. We got some great development heading into Ultima Lucha 4. With Taya facing Ricky Mundo, and that match has been set up. I love the development of Ricky Mundo. It was nice to see Famous B again as well. It was also nice to see Taya challenge and get up in Matanza's face and challenge him to a sacrifice to the gods match. Speaking of that, we will be getting Johnny Mundo versus Matanza at Ultima Lucha in a sacrifice to the gods match, so that should be good. So that card's looking pretty stacked, I think, what with Mac versus Mil Muertes. We're getting Phoenix versus El Dragon Azteca Jr. We're getting Pentagon versus Marty the Moth for the title, which looks like it's going to be a violent showcase. I'll get to that in a second. You're getting Killshot versus Son of Havoc, Mask versus Mask, and, all these other things. It's like, man, this card looks like it's going to be pretty fucking good. I'm really enjoying it. So we got all of that, and then we got two really good matches. The Tornado Tag match, Phoenix and Mil Muertes, the former rivals, which they played with a little bit in this match as partners, though, going up against their opponents at Ultima Lucha, the Mac and El Dragon Azteca Jr. Wild, crazy, action-packed match. Again, it's one of those matches I highly recommend checking out. And we also got Pentagon taking on Marty the Moth's second, Reclusa, played by Chelsea Green, who looked absolutely stunning in the spider getup, by the way. She looked gorgeous, and she's always been hot, but I was like, man, she looks smoking in the spider motif. I kind of dig it. But anyway, I thought the match that Pentagon and Chelsea Green had was awesome. Really awesome stuff, and she came off looking like a star by the time it was done. Pentagon got the win, which was good, and then post-match we saw Marty the Moth beat down Pentagon, threatened to set him on fire. He beat him up with a barbed wire baseball bat, and thumbtacks came into play at one point. So it looks like their match at Ultima Lucha is going to be quite the wild, violent spectacle. So all good stuff there. So the build-up to Ultima Lucha has been really good, and I thought this episode was stellar. So great stuff all around. Just following up on the comments. All right, did you see Glory by Honor? No, I haven't seen it yet. What's the difference between an angle and a storyline? To me, like, an angle is... I guess you could say they're synonymous, but to me, an angle is like a segment, almost like a part of the storyline, and the storyline's the overall thing. That's always been my interpretation. Look, I'm not saying I don't like the Hurricane. I'm just saying it's like, given my choices between the two, I'd probably have Marty Scurll go over. Bully Ray was such a great heel in Glory by Honor. I think he's a great heel in general. It makes me sad when I read the reviews of the Ring of Honor shows and he kind of gets shit on in that, like, oh, he's not a good worker and he's lazy and blah, 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 all this other stuff. He's like, dude, I think he's an amazing heel. I think he's really doing well in his role. Does this look like the best Ultima Lucha card of the four? Well, I don't know if I go that far. Last year's was pretty stacked. But we'll see how it turns out. We'll see. It has potential to be really strong, but it's not going to be as long as last year's. Last year's show was 4 weeks. The year before that was 3 weeks, and this year we're going back to 2, which feels like a downgrade. But I also think that's part of like the shortening budget and everything else. I need to see Chelsea Green as Spider-Woman. Yeah, she looked pretty hot in the getup, dude. But anyway, we're going to jump into Saturday night's main event, the last episode of 1992 and the last Saturday night's main event for a decade and a half. So this is kind of the end of an era here. The episode that I think a lot of us at the time thought would be the final Saturday night's main event. Interest had declined. I think that era was coming to an end. And just a few months after this, WWE would debut the very first episode of Monday Night Raw. So it was a clear sign that like the business was evolving, WWE was changing, and Saturday night's main event was kind of becoming a relic and kind of a thing of the past. So this is kind of the end of an era here. So this is going to be kind of bittersweet to watch this one. But Saturday night's main event, November 1992. Bret Hart defends the WWE title against Papa Shango. I cannot believe I just read that sentence out loud, but yes, it happened. And the British Bulldog puts the Intercontinental title on the line against Shawn Michaels. That seems a little bit more feasible. Where was the beginning end of the Rock and Wrestling era? The beginning was probably around the time Hogan won the title, and the end was probably around this period, maybe even a year or two before. Is Lucha Underground a TV show centered around wrestling or a genuine promotion? I would say it's a TV show centered around wrestling. That would be the best way to look at it. Wrestling in the U.S. in late 92 hit its recession. Yeah, it did. It was fitting since Halloween is close. Fair point. Fair. You know, Papa Shango fits the Halloween theme. But all right, we are going to get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brother Nero, I knew you'd come. I'm watching Royal Rumble 97. Why is Kane dressed as Diesel? Because Vince told him to. That's exactly why. This tap out commercial got longer. Is that just me? Did you hear that Kevin Owens has a knee injury and will be out 8 to 9 months? Okay, we are opening up with the Tag Team Championships. Money Inc. versus Ultimate Warrior and Randy Savage, the Ultimate Maniacs. I believe this was Warrior's final TV match before leaving again, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, IRS and Ted DiBiase makes no sense as a team because no multi-millionaire would be happy teaming with a tax man. The Ultimate Maniacs. Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior.
It will be a scientific wrestling match. It's likely, however, to be a brawl. Hello, everyone. I'm Vince McMahon, along with Bobby the Brain Heenan, and the tag team title, just one of the 3 title matches headed your way tonight on Saturday night's main event. It's the WWF Triple Crown. And Shawn Michaels, take my word for it, is going to defeat the British Bulldog.
Shawn Michaels versus the British Bulldog for the IC title. That logo for Bulldog looks stupid. That is not one of their better designs. And speaking of stupid, look at that logo for fucking Papa Shango. That looks ridiculous. You know, I'm making fun of Papa Shango, and he's a Hall of Famer. Guess I shouldn't laugh. Why do you think WWE declined around 1992 onwards till 97, 98? I think the steroid scandal had a lot to do with it. I think, you know, fads come and go, and I think people had just, like, moved on to something else. That was also part of it. Did you hear Rock will be at SmackDown 1000? We'll have some kind of announcement. I did, and we shall see. Is the logo crooked? No. As far as I can tell, no. Yeah, this will be the final Saturday night's main event match for all 4 men. Well, it might be, I mean, Rotunda was in some of the early ones, but not like a mainstay. But guys like DiBiase and Savage and even Warrior, they're like Saturday night's main event mainstays. And this is their final match. And the baby faces are in control. The brain scan, yes! We're getting some Bobby Heenan analysis here. I love it. Oh, Bobby, I love you so much. Stream SD1000. I don't know if I'm going to be home to watch SD1000. Oh, neck snap by Savage. You know, it's weird. It's Warrior and Savage, and they're wearing Hulk Hogan colors. Red and yellow. I wonder what the plan was for the Ultimate Maniacs. I mean, I wonder, like, had Warrior not gone, like, what would the Ultimate plan with him have been? I mean, I've heard that he was supposed to work with Brett, and Brett was going to beat him with the sharpshooter, but the only one I've ever heard say that is Brett. So take that for what it's worth.
An easy kick out by DiBiase. Now they are the WWF Tag Team Champions, but I really wonder, how do they prepare themselves for Savage and the Warrior? No one can prepare for the Ultimate Maniac.
Oh, look at DiBiase. He just slammed Warrior face first into the mat. All right. When they try to build new stars, the fans reject them, and we're in a cycle of new stars, reject, legends, reject, rinse, and repeat. Well, I think a large part of the problem is that their shows just suck. Like the creative just sucks. So it makes guys like Roman Reigns seem like dog shit and presents them in such a horrible way, and the fans reject him. It's like, well, yeah, but you're kind of making them look like shit. So. Yeah, Warrior and Savage were teamed up because in Survivor Series 92, they were supposed to face Ric Flair and Razor Ramon in one of the main events of the show, but Warrior got booted out of the company and was ultimately replaced by Mr. Perfect. If you want to see like one of the best episodes of Primetime Wrestling, check out the one where Mr. Perfect turns face. That was one of the best episodes in the show's history. I wonder if that episode's on the network. I'll have to check that out.
Bottom line is, Ultimate Maniac, you may become champions tonight, but Survivor Series, you will not survive. My two men will see to it that somebody gets hurt.
Woo!
The person right now getting hurt continues to be the Ultimate Warrior, Ted DiBiase. I've slapped $1 million dream on him, and the Warrior is going down. Now from behind, Randy Savage with a knee squarely in the back of DiBiase's back. They should be disqualified right now. He didn't make a tag. He just blatantly came in the ring. Oh, I can agree with you. Yeah, that was certainly a reason for disqualification when the official right from the get-go has been confused. The official is yet to really take control as he should have from the top. We said before this is not likely to be much of a scientific wrestling match. I'll tell you, Money, they're trying to take it to him.
Speaking of H and Taker, supposedly HBK versus Brothers Destruction match is expected to go around 40 minutes, including entrances. Oh, yeah, I totally want to watch that. I said it in the video. I think they should totally cancel Crown Jewel and just get the fuck out of Dodge. You don't want this heat, dude. You really don't. Just don't get involved in this shit. The shit. Savage gets the tag. God, it feels like just yesterday we were watching Savage and DiBiase in their match from '88 on Saturday night's main event. My, how time flies. With it being SmackDown 1000 soon, who's on your SmackDown Mount Rushmore? Probably Rock, Lesnar, Angle. Oh, geez, that's tough. Yeah, because I'm thinking like Lesnar, Angle, Rock, Taker, Edge, JBL, like Rey Mysterio. Those are the names that I would play with as like a Mount Rushmore. I would start with that list and then whittle it down from there.
You've got to have 2 or 3 referees if you want to be fair about it. What's going to happen when the Maniacs beat Flat on the bull? Oh, you wait. You just wait.
Also, I mean, the big thing about Crown Jewel, you got to wonder. Down goes Ted. Atomic drop. Out goes IRS. It's a free-for-all. Is that Mike Chioda? Is that a young Chioda? But you got to look at the situation with Crown Jewel. If I were one of the wrestlers, I'm like, dude, is this even safe? What we're walking into here? And Money Inc. just walked out and got counted out. Well, why'd you let him walk, guys? Like, Savage and Warrior are all pissed. I'm like, well, you're the ones that let him walk. And there they go. They're brawling outside the ring now. Oh, there's Razor and Flair. How is Chavo considered to be part of the SmackDown 6? Because he was tagging with Eddie, and they were having those matches with Angle and Benoit and Edge and Ray. I can't, I mean, I don't know what the buy rate would have been on Brett versus Hogan, but it's a match I wanted to see. I would have loved to have seen it at Survivor Series or SummerSlam. All right, we're going to get the Intercontinental title after this, and that was the end of the Ultimate Warrior in the WWE until '96, his return at WrestleMania 12. Here he is, the Heartbreak Kid. Very, very young. Oh, look at that. Shawn has hair. He's still got the Sherry theme, even though Sherry at this point had gotten injured and would ultimately turn face. Have you heard that Vince doesn't want to push Asuka because she can't speak English well? Well, then don't have her speak. Give her a mouthpiece or something. Shouldn't she be like the female Great Muta anyway? Why is it so hard for people to think HBK's retirement return is part of a grander wrestling story? HBK didn't retire because he was done. He wanted to be with this kid who was halfway gone. No, it's just something that reeks of desperation. It's like, oh shit, now we're gonna pull Shawn out. We're gonna pull the mothballs off of Shawn. You know, it's to me, it just feels like them trying to throw shit up against the wall and see what sticks. Alrighty, this is a big title match in Saturday Night's Main Event history. It's well, I mean, you all probably already know who wins at this point, but yeah, it's probably the last significant title match in the show's history from a historical standpoint.
But the British Bulldog is definitely not too bright a person. Wait a minute.
Yeah, and this is right after Bulldog, just a few months after he won the title in Wembley, in like the biggest match of his career, and this would be his final match until '94 when he would come back. His last WWF match, I should say. He would go to WCW not long after this. Well, the other thing about Shawn's return, it's like, oh, what are they doing? They're putting him up against Taker, which I've already seen that like a million times. Oh, they're reuniting him with Triple H. I've already seen that a million times. Could you create like a new match? Something that I can't already watch on the network? Something I've never seen before? Because this is just DX Reunion Part 45, and I could not possibly care any less. Does kicking out of a finisher help a babyface or a heel more? I don't know if there is like a preference. It depends. Like if you're building a monster, having them kick out is a big deal. If they're a heel, if they're a babyface, having them kick out of the finisher, you know, gives them an obstacle to overcome on their path to victory. So, but both ways it can be overdone and be made meaningless. HBK has said he doesn't want to work with the younger guys. Well, then don't come back. That's what. If you're not going to give us any of the matches that we would want, then I don't want to see you. I'm like, I just don't care. Look at the strength on Bulldog. Boom. Gorilla press by Bulldog. Oh, Shawn, he's going to have a bad landing. Boom. Yeah, people forget that AJ is in his 40s. Yeah, people seem to forget that. Do you think Tommaso Ciampa could ever turn face again? I guess anything is possible, although I wouldn't want to see it at this point because he's so great as a heel.
You should stay out of politics. That comment about Ross Perot earlier on, uncalled for. I can't imagine. President Bush is a stand-up guy. That's why he didn't dump anyone. You, as vice president, give me a break. No. Me as president. Bush is vice president.
Bobby. Fucking love you, Bobby.
Shawn Michaels with a quick reversal. Referee trying to get in there and break it. Oh, we didn't expect to see a clean break. Shawn Michaels knows he's in trouble. Ooh, now it's the British Bulldog in trouble. After that, elbow to the jaw. Bulldog to the buckle.
Bulldog. Oh, look at Bulldog. Look at them go. Was Michaels just bumping for himself there? Like, what the heck? That looked weird.
What are you looking at? What do you think this is, basketball? Speaking of basketball, you know who played right here in this building?
Do you think Piper versus Hogan for the WWF title should have been the main event of the first Mania? I mean, that would be the conventional wisdom, but back then at the first Mania, there was no template. There was no blueprint. It made sense for them to do the match that they did, with Mr. T being the big attraction and bringing all the eyeballs in. So if that were like the main event to WrestleMania 2, sure. But for the first WrestleMania, I think it made sense for them to do that tag match. Oh, and out of the ring goes Bulldog. What's the difference between Ciampa hate and Roman hate? Ciampa hate is intended. Roman hate is them just fully rejecting the babyface. Although you feel the Roman hate has died down. I haven't been watching the show, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I haven't watched Raw or SmackDown in months. And they didn't like him at SummerSlam, so take that for what it's worth. Or Hell in a Cell. They didn't like him then either. You have to address the story between HBK and Taker. Why? I feel like Taker beat him. The story's over. I don't need to see any more than that. I'm done. I'm good. We're all good here. I'm fine. I don't need any more. I don't need an epilogue. Who do you think was the best Batman and the best Joker? Best Batman, Kevin Conroy. Best Joker, Mark Hamill. I think Mark Hamill, Jack Nicholson, or Heath Ledger. I could go any one of them on that one. But, you know. And now if we're going to go with live action Batman, I would say Michael Keaton is my favorite. Do you think Vince worked well on commentary? Yes. Yes, I do. I liked him at the booth. What about Piper versus Hogan with Mr. T as the ref? I don't think that carries the same weight as, like, putting an actor in the ring. I think that was more like a much more like crazy attraction for people to kind of latch on to. How did the Shape survive bullets and falling off a 2-story house? We don't know, and we're not supposed to know, and that's what makes it great. Abdominal stretch by Michaels, but Davey Boy flips out of it. Elbow drop, but he misses. 1, 2, no. Do you think WWE should do pre-show and post-show press conferences like UFC? I wouldn't be opposed to them trying it. I wouldn't be, like, if they wanted to do that different style of presentation, I'd be okay with it. God, the Bulldog was supposed to face the Mountie for the IC title at Survivor Series. I completely forgot about that. Back to the abdominal stretch. Bulldog is in trouble. Do you think WWE have been victims of their own success at times? Yes. Yes, I do. I think you're seeing it now with Raw being 3 hours and SmackDown being 2 hours, and them they got so successful that they kept growing and growing and getting more programming and various other things. And now it's gotten to a point where it's like the level of programming that they have to churn out every week, it's almost unsustainable. And that's how you get the quality of shows that you get. What would you say that if you were on commentary? Maybe. I don't know. 1, 2, no. I'd probably say that. Pro Wrestling Tees is having a 20% discount sale. Ooh, okay. I might check that out. Would you like Space Godzilla to return? How would you bring him back? Honestly, yes. And if I were going to bring him back, I would want it to be in an adaptation of the comic book Half-Century War. Oh, Bulldog got the elbow that time. Space Godzilla plays a role in Half-Century War, and I love that comic. So if they were ever going to adapt that, I would want to see Space Godzilla included. Oh, damn. Flipped up. Boom. Michaels is getting killed. Slingshot time. Oh. How awesome would a trio of Katrina, Mill, and Dark Phoenix be? It would be pretty neat. Have you heard that Punishment Martinez is WWE bound? I have heard that. Good for him, I guess. Vertical suplex. He's down. 1, 2. Michaels kicks out again. What's the Half-Century War? It's a Godzilla comic book that details a near 50-year struggle for one man in dealing with Godzilla and all the other monsters that show up in that time period. So the story takes place over the course of almost 50 years. And we get to see like how this man deals with Godzilla and how his feelings towards Godzilla changes over that time. Agree or disagree? There's only so many stories in wrestling that you can do, so there's going to be some repetition just from stuff in the past. Oh yeah, absolutely. You're going to repeat stuff from the past, but there's but personalities are unique, and personalities and people are individuals. So there's a way to like flavor it so where it doesn't seem like it's exactly the same thing. God, look at Michaels bounce around like a pinball. Looking back at WCW versus WWE, does it blow your mind that the two huge companies were purposely trying to kill one another? No, because that's what. Oh, his back gave out on the superplex. 1, 2. Michaels wins the IC title. Is there a paperback collection of that Half-Century War? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. So yeah, Shawn wins his first major singles championship in the WWF. So huge historical implications with this match. Also, it's one of only 2 title changes to ever take place on Saturday Night's Main Event, which is interesting. Because prior to this, like I said, the only one that ever took place on NBC was Demolition losing the tag titles to the Brainbusters. And on Fox, this was the only title change that ever happened. So, and then when Saturday Night's Main Event came back in 2006, none of the new episodes had any title changes. So only 2 title changes in 36 episodes. That's kind of crazy. So Godzilla is that guy's white whale. Yes, exactly. Yes. Thoughts on HBK super kicking Hogan on Raw turning heel? I love that segment. I thought that was a wonderful segment. First championship period. Yeah, that's right. The Rockers never officially held the tag titles. I put that in quotation marks because they did win the tag titles, but their win was erased from history.
Look at it like this. Once again, the World Wrestling Federation Championship is the focal point of the WWF. You've got newly crowned Intercontinental Champion Shawn Michaels versus the WWF champ Bret Hart. Champion versus champion. Boys, remember this. The Big Daddy will be waiting. All right, that's the perfect.
Wow, Ric Flair just put over Bret and Shawn.
Having a bad day, having a bad time. I remember prior to SummerSlam, these 2 egomaniacs tried to gel as a team. Whoa, wait a minute.
Would WCW and WWF join companies? Would that have helped both companies and made it into one huge company, or was it always one or the other? I mean, it would have been interesting if they could have had some kind of a working relationship. That would have been interesting.
Now you know how easy it is to confuse these.
How long would you have had HBK run heel for in 2005? It was so short. Honestly, I would have run with it at least until WrestleMania because I just prefer heel Shawn Michaels. Say hello to the bad guy. Again, movie night at Scott Hall's house must be amazing because that's where wrestling gimmicks are born. Thoughts on Raven? Great promos, great character, great personality, and a really good worker. A very minimalist worker. You know, he didn't do much, but everything he did kind of worked and told the story. So I always liked Raven. Do you remember the first episode of The Simpsons you saw? I actually don't. I can't tell you which was the first one I saw. Did the Rockers' title reign kill their wife and kid and commit suicide too? Jesus, dude, that got dark. Oh, Razor Ramon was great. Yeah, that was a great character. Now here we go, the main event. Papa Shango versus Bret Hart for the WWF title. I guess they were trying to recreate The Undertaker with Papa Shango, but it didn't work. I'll tell you what did work with Papa Shango. His squash matches were awesome because he would always cast, like, I remember one he did where he would, the lights went out and the lights came back on and the jobber, he was unconscious. He had the black goo on his face and his feet were on fire. I was like, holy shit. This is, and they would always do stuff like that in his squash matches that I thought were kind of neat. When do you think WWF and Vince started to gain faith in Bret Hart? I guess Vince always had some faith in him. I think it was probably around the time of King of the Ring 93, though, where he realized, ooh, Bret's really good. We should really, really run with him.
I come from a real big family. I got 7 brothers. You know, and ever since I was like this tall, he's been taking all me and my brothers down in the basement. We got a little room down there. We call it the dungeon. There's a little wrestling mat down there, and he's taught us wrestling. He's taught us how to be tough.
The main event is proof on how thin the roster was at this point. Yep.
After hold after hold, and I learned to never quit.
WWF also tried to recreate Undertaker with Bray Wyatt, and that didn't go too well. No, it did not.
And before long, I worked hard enough, and I dug in. And
do you think WWE will ever get to the point where tag team wrestling could main event pay-per-views again? Not while Vince is in charge.
You learn from every single match. You learn from every single opponent. You know,
how did the Shape learn to drive while he was in the loony bin? Again, we're not supposed to know, and that's what makes him so scary. It's like, how does he figure all this shit out? Why is he doing what is he doing? How does he survive gunshots? Like, that's what makes him so great, is that we don't understand him, and he is just this living shadow that kind of haunts the film.
All right, he exemplifies determination. Tonight, will Papa Shango make Bret Hart's dream come true, turn into a nightmare? Vince, back to you.
Even though Triple H had his reign of terror, do you agree that during that time he put the belt over as the greatest prize in WWE? The belt meant something. To some degree, yes. The programs he was in were terrible to where it's like I didn't even want to watch the world title matches. For the most part, not all of them, but, you know, it was... Ugh, there was some bad stuff there. Didn't Virgil get a title shot around this time as well? I don't remember. That's a good question. Who would win, AMW versus Young Bucks? Well, Young Bucks now, because AMW ain't around. Better roster, WCW 98 or WWE 2000? Oh, God. Both rosters were outstanding. Like, arguably the best rosters that both companies ever had. I couldn't tell you. Okay, we're getting Bret. Yeah, and there's kind of a passing of the torch, you know, changing of the guard feel to the show because, you know, the opening match had Savage and Warrior in it and DiBiase and those old, like, rock and wrestling 80s era type of guys. And now we're seeing, like, the two major title matches, it's all the young guys. It's Brett, Shawn, Bulldog. And those are the two big singles matches on this show. And it sets up Shawn versus Brett as the main event of the next pay-per-view. So we're kind of transitioning into the new generation era with this episode. Monkey flip by Brett. What went wrong? Tim Burton. As a filmmaker that got old and, just lost his touch. Which wrestlers do you think weren't great but would have made great managers? Enzo Amore. I think Enzo Amore would have. I think he missed his calling. He should have been a manager. Reverse atomic drop. Inverted atomic drop. Clothesline and down. Papa Shango goes up and over out of the ring. Flying plancha by Brett. Look at this. Brett's like, I will get a great match out of Papa Shango, come hell or high water.
We're back with more Saturday Night's Main Event. Both Bret Hart and Papa Shango.
Thanks for tweeting me the link, man.
What are you doing? Help me unwrap this box. Would you leave that box alone, please?
Ooh, Brett. Chest first into the turnbuckle.
If he makes a mistake, Shango's going to take over. I'll tell you what he's going to do. He's going to get into the mind of the hitman. He's going to put the mojo on him. The mojo, the voodoo whammy bammy.
The voodoo whammy bammy? I like Heenan's terminology here. This is funny.
It's Papa Shango hurrying around the hitman Bret Hart. This for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. And you may be right. Yes, you may be
Bear hug by Shango. It's funny about the 2000 versus 98 question. X-Pac, Y2J, Eddie, Benoit, Saturn, Dean were a part of both shows, right? Yeah. What's the best unscripted moment in WWE history? I guess Punk's pipe bomb, because supposedly that was not scripted. So.
He's terrified of Papa Shango. He wants to get it over with. He wants to take it to him. But look what's happening. Shango is getting into his mind. He is getting the man where he wants it. He must be.
Oh, headbutt to the midsection by Shango. I remember as a kid, I did have a Papa Shango action figure from the I think it was the Hasbro line. Double chokehold by Shango. Oof.
He's got a 4 count to break it, or 5 count. You know that. What a monster this Papa Shango is.
Oh, Austin on the beer truck. Yeah, that promo was awesome. What did he say? I'm going to roll right into the SmackDown hotel. I'm going to check into the SmackDown hotel, roll right into room 316, and proceed to burn that son of a bitch to the ground. Yeah, that was awesome. I love that whole bit.
Papa Shango allegedly put a curse on the hitman Bret Hart, or perhaps it's paying off tonight. Well, what happened when he put that curse on him? He lost the Intercontinental title. Maybe now this curse is going to go full tilt.
Supposedly Flair versus Bossman was going to take place on this Saturday Night's Main Event, but was cut for some reason. Probably because of the shortened time frame. They just, Shango and Brett probably went a little long. Michaels and Bulldog probably went a little long. Oh, the tag match, you can't really cut that because of the stars involved. Bossman versus Flair was the most expendable match out of those 4. Because it's not a title match, and it's not a major pairing, no knock on Bossman, but it's not like he's a huge opponent for Ric Flair. Not the way he was for Hogan. Not as when he was a heel working against Hogan, it felt like a big deal. As a babyface, he just kind of felt like, and he was over, but he just felt like another one of those superhero baby faces. It was almost interchangeable. Sunset flip by Brett. Oh no, Shango missed. Come on, Brett. Oh, Brett catches him in the face. Sleeper hold by Brett. I'm surprised there isn't a superstar who drinks energy drinks. How do you know they don't? What did you think of the Kurt Angle milk truck parody of the beer truck? I thought it was funny. It was cute and funny. I think WWE had one of its best rosters in 2002. It had a great roster in 2002. How would you react if a team won the Super Bowl and you heard a "You Deserve It" chant? I mean, if it's their fans cheering for them, it makes sense. Brett rolls out of the way with the elbow drop, and here comes the Hitman. Catches him in the midsection. Russian leg sweep. 1, 2, no. Better promo with a tear in my eye, or it's me, Austin. The Flair promo. The Flair promo was better. Like the "It's me, Austin" has become a meme. Like that's more of a joke than anything else. Let me tell you about my master plan. To get the title off of Austin, I had to abduct my daughter and sacrifice her to a satanic cult. This was the next logical step for me. 1, 2, no. Shango kicks out. This is the best match I've ever seen this guy have, whether it be the Godfather or Papa Shango or Kama. This might be his best match. Either that or he had a casket match with Undertaker at SummerSlam 95 that I remember being pretty good. "It's me, Austin" happened on my birthday. Well, happy birthday to you. That's awesome. Sharpshooter. Shango quit. This is before they would tap out, which helped out a lot with submission holds, I think. Instead, they would just kind of nod their head, and it was easier to miss. I think tapping out it makes it easier for the crowd to see and for the audience to kind of determine, yeah, he quit. As a kid, I always wondered why Vince didn't just fire Austin to get rid of him. So he wouldn't go to WCW. I mean, keep in mind, that was right in the middle of the Monday Night Wars. So, yeah. That was the logical reason for it.
First of all, he sets him up in that Russian leg sweep. Yeah. Now watch. See, you gotta put your leg like that to turn it. His leg's still like this. Your leg crosses. It's like this. A leg.
What is?
His leg, your leg, once, and then I'm like, you spell champ. You're right.
Heenan. Fucking Heenan, you're so gold. Now we're getting a special edition of the Funeral Parlor. So we're going to get to see Paul Bearer.
I'll agree with you there. Oh my goodness.
According to Jericho, Terry Taylor introduced tapping out. Well, good for Terry Taylor. Better faction, Dungeon of Doom, Aces and Eights are the oddities. Of that three, Aces and Eights was the best of the bunch. Aces and Eights was at least cool conceptually. What's the stupidest way a superstar has come back from being fired? Probably when Nexus got rid of Cena, and Cena never really went away.
Knows the fear that Kamala has for my Undertaker. All you have to do.
And now we're seeing footage of Kamala and Undertaker at SummerSlam. Which was, I remember that match as a kid thinking that was one of the cool, Undertaker babyface moments where Kamala like did this top rope splash on him, and he sat up and stalked him down. I thought that was so cool as a kid. What about Mr. America? That was also pretty stupid. Yes. Oh, there's Taker. This is perfect for Halloween. Look at this setup. How close do you think Michaels was to joining WCW in '96? For all accounts, he was actually fairly close. At a couple of points, I think. Did Bear sound like a ghost on purpose? Partially. Some of that voice is put on, but if you've ever heard Percy Pringle talk, his real voice isn't too far off from Paul Bearer.
And just like all the rest, you will suffer.
I agree. Yeah, anytime a fired wrestler comes back under a mask under a different name is stupid. Yeah, I agree. Whenever I hear Paul use the spooky voice, I always think double wide, double deep. Double wide, double deep, like my Oreos. Who do you think will have the greater legacy in wrestling, HBK or Taker? I think Taker will be the more mythical figure that people look back on. HBK will be more of like the purists' favorite as being like the greatest worker ever. But I think Taker, just the longevity of the character, I think people will look back on him as like this mythical figure in pro wrestling, like almost an Andre the Giant type. I also want to know why the Shape grabbed the kid while he ran and just let him go. You can't murder a child in broad daylight. Come on, you'll get caught. Yeah, you'll be bringing on the heat of the fuzz. Gotta do that shit in the dead of night. Mr. America is stupid, but you remember it, right? Oh, yeah, I do. I do remember it. Which version of Taker's theme did you like the most? The Rock theme that he had in '98. I love that version of the theme.
That means it's going to be champion versus champion when he meets you Thanksgiving Eve. You know, he said
Intercontinental champion. Hey, he's not the man that came out here earlier tonight and made the promise that he would become the Intercontinental champion. It was Shawn Michaels. He's not the man that came out here tonight and told everybody that
the Shape. That's Michael Myers' name from Halloween, like one of his names from Halloween. In the credits, he's known as the Shape. But we're talking about the original Halloween.
You know who I beat tonight? Do you remember who I beat tonight?
Have you seen any of the Joker filming snippets that have been leaked? I have not. If it looks good, that's great. Awesome. So why did the Shape rob that hardware store in broad daylight? Look, he needed the mask, okay?
Compared to what Shawn Michaels is going to do to you at Survivor Series. Get ready, because you're not going to have that.
I'm going to screw you because Shawn Michaels won't lay down for anybody. Oh, wait, we're a few years away from that.
let's get back to you.
Thank you very much, Mean Gene Okerlund, and now Bobby Heenan will open his gift. Would you get off the phone, please? We're back on the air. You're not going to believe what I'm finding out right now. The scoop I have is going to shock the WWF. What? Just I didn't even care about that dumb gift. Yeah. Again, we certainly hope you've enjoyed the World Wrestling Federation's presentation. Savage and Warrior at Survivor Series will not go to the ring together as a team. What are you talking about? Which one? What kind of a rule?
Okay, so this is like that ending there that you just saw with Heenan. That kind of set the stage for Warrior not making it to Survivor Series and Mr. Perfect ultimately becoming his partner at the pay-per-view. I wonder if the Shape and the Joker would get along. Probably not. Michael Myers isn't one for conversations. You're like Dr. Loomis explaining why the Shape does things. Alrighty, so that concludes Saturday night's main event from November '92. So we're done with all the old episodes, all the really old episodes from the original run of Saturday night's main event. Like I said, end of an era. We're through the original 31. Now we've got 5 more to watch from 2006 to 2008, which, to be perfectly honest, I am not excited to watch in the least. I could not possibly care any less. But I said I would watch every episode of Saturday night's main event, and I'm going to do that. So we'll be starting on the revival of Saturday night's main event next week. I voted on all your polls today. Looking at the results, it seems like fans hate you and want you to watch a whole lot of Triple H Mania matches. Yeah, I kind of set myself up for that one. How do you think Neville will do in Dragon Gate? I love that he's still a heel. I think he could do really well. Shane and Shawn is a good match. I remember that match. I remember the first episode being okay, largely, but like the later ones were like such half-assed efforts, and I'm like, oh, do I have to sit here and watch all of these? Yeah, I do. I promised. I promised I would. All righty, now we're going to go into the Clash of the Champions, the first episode of 1995. The 30th Clash of the Champions overall. This episode took place on January 25th, 1995. Yeah, so moving forward, we've got 95, 96, and 97 left on Clash of the Champions, and there are only 2 episodes per year. So we're going to be moving really quick through the timeline as we head towards the end of the Clash of the Champions. So we're going to get like almost an abridged version of 1995, 96, and 1997. So it's going to feel like very breakneck speed. Whereas before, you'd have like 4 to 5 clashes a year, and it felt like you were getting kind of a covering of the whole year. Now there's 490, 492, 491, 490. Yeah, so it's 4 or 5. Yeah, 89 had 5, 88 had 4. So yeah, it's 4 to 5 a year. And you would get almost like a summary of the entire year for WCW through the Clash of the Champions. But here it's going to feel a lot faster. 95 abridged for WCW is good, but still terrible. I fully agree with that. I would say Undertaker is the Clint Eastwood of WWE, and HBK is more like the De Niro. That's a fair comparison. Did Nitro have something to do with the lower numbers of episodes of The Clash? I think so. I think Thunder outright forced him to stop it because you can't keep doing Clash episodes and do Thunder. But yeah. All right, so we're going to get started on this. I'm going to get a drink of water real quick. I'll be back in just a second. Oh, my God. All right, I'm back. All right, we're going to get started with the Clash of the Champions. Close out the stream tonight. All right, Clash of the Champions 30 features world champion Hulk Hogan teaming with Macho Man Randy Savage to battle Kevin Sullivan and the Butcher. So it's like an awesome Mega Powers reunion main event until you find out they're facing Kevin Sullivan and Brutus Beefcake. Bischoff wanted to cut clashes because it cost the same to put on pay-per-views as it was to do the clashes, so why not cut them, do more pay-per-views, and make money? Yeah, also fair. Yeah, they were also doing more pay-per-views around this time as well. All right, so we're going to get started on this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Oh, it's that same tap-out commercial. I feel like we've seen that. I feel like that's like the go-to ad whenever we start on this live stream. How many times do I have to watch John Cena do squats? I just don't care. All right, now, like I said before, ooh, it's in Caesar's Palace, the place of WrestleMania 9, another infamous moment of Hogan's career. Anyway, the main event of this show with Hogan and Savage, there's an infamous spot that takes place. And I can't wait to talk about it because I've got a unique opinion on it. This was also during Flair's retirement. Yes, he lost to Hulk Hogan in Halloween Havoc 94 and retired, which obviously didn't stick. Adam Cole, baby.
It was a gamble, but the WCW World Champion Hulk Hogan found his surprise was a shake of the hand and not a slap in the face.
Who has an easier schedule at this point, Cena or Rock? I mean, both of them are pretty easy. I mean, they're like, they just show up when they're called, basically. I guess Rock, because he hasn't worked in so long, but he might be working Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, so who knows?
In Las Vegas, Nevada, it's Flash of the Champion. And you are looking live in the entertainment capital of Las Vegas. Yes.
Okay, we're going to be going past midnight Eastern to finish this show, so hopefully I'm not keeping you guys up too late. Oh, busier schedule. I have no idea. You'd have to ask them. Do you think at this point Vince values Rock more than Austin? I think so, yeah, because of Rock's like movie projects and outside appeal.
That is going to be a huge match, Cody Schiavone, but let me point out, they say 5 matches on this great schedule tonight, but there may be more. As you know, Hardy, Race, and Vader...
Yeah, Ric Flair, he wrestled a couple of times in TNA. I remember he had that match with Foley. He was in that tag match. It was Hogan and Abyss versus AJ and Flair. I think he had a match with Jay Lethal, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Hulk Hogan, he put him to sleep. Well, this is a city that never sleeps. Hogan, you better have your jammies on because you're going to bed real early. And yes, the man is in the building. Ric Flair. Woo! Let's go to Gary Capetta.
Ladies and gentlemen, this first contest on the Clash of the Champions, it is the match that WCW fans across the country voted for during our interactive program. The one you asked for the World Television Championship.
World TV title. We've got Arn Anderson, the champion. And never a bad thing to see Arn Anderson on a card.
Along with Bing from Minnesota, weighing 248 pounds, the World Television Champion, the Enforcer, Arn Anderson.
Well, the World Television Championship is on the line.
No, I think Flair's days are done. I would be very surprised if he ever stepped foot in a ring again. WWE or anywhere else. Do you think WCW having pay-per-views at designated venues like Halloween Havoc happening in Vegas every year was a good idea? Maybe. I mean, just kind of bill it as like an annual event for that area. Maybe there was like a logic to it, as long as it was understood. I would probably do a mix of the two. Like if you're going to do 12 pay-per-views a year, which I wouldn't do, but it kind of works to have like an event that's like, oh, we're coming to Vegas for this event, and so get ready for it or whatever. But then you have the other events like, say, the WrestleManias, where it's like, all right, we may bring WrestleMania to your town this year, or SummerSlam. We may bring SummerSlam to your town this year, or something like that. So. I feel pretty safe in saying Saquon Barkley is this generation's Barry Sanders. Well, it's certainly looking that way at this point, right? I think The Rock is the most selfless main eventer of all time. That might be true. I mean, all right, so we got Johnny B. Bad taking on Arn Anderson. How many pay-per-views would you have per year? No more than 5. If we're up to me, no more than 5. In a perfect world.
Everyone was talking about the match with Hogan and Savage. The Mega Maniacs, Monster Maniacs, whatever they call themselves.
The Monster Maniacs? Is that what they called themselves in WCW? I don't remember.
Holding up the World Television title belt, a belt that Arn Anderson has held a couple of times. This is yet another title reign for the Enforcer against a very fired up Johnny B. Bad. Johnny B. Bad won the television title back
back in September at Fall Brawl when he defeated Lord Steven Regal, and at that time it was the birthday of his mother.
Isn't that touching?
Anyway,
It's Mommy's birthday.
May I continue?
Go ahead.
He celebrated the birthday with a World Television title win. His mother and father and his whole family, they're all here tonight to watch John.
God, Mero's in really good shape here.
The world on this man, the challenger, to regain the television belt.
Well, now he's fighting for his pride. He's fighting for his family. He wants to win the title in front of Mumsy and Daddy. Isn't that touching? Makes me sick. This is nothing different for Arn Anderson. He's been there before. This man knows what to do.
Johnny B. Bad. Arn Anderson does not want to get in a fisticuff with Johnny B. Bad. Didn't need it. Anderson goes down.
But you notice he's smart enough to go back to the corner. He's going to make Johnny B. Bad wrestle his man, not Johnny B. Bad.
Anderson slowing things down now as he stays in his corner, and Bad has the advantage.
Is Barry Sanders related to Colonel Sanders? You'd have to ask Barry. Probably not. Do you like Aerosmith? Yes. What's your favorite song if you do? Probably Walk This Way. Walk This Way!
Pound on him. Make him wrestle your match. Do it, Arn. As only you can do, my friend.
Arn going up top. Drop kick by B-Bad. Down goes Arn. Would you like to see Rollins versus Zack Sabre Jr.? Yes, I would. That'd be cool. Oh, and there's a little bit of high flying from Johnny B-Bad. Took out both Colonel Parker and Arn. Boom. 1, 2. I gotta be honest, I do not like Nick Patrick's counts, the way he counts to 3. Maybe that's just me being used to the way the WWF referees do it, but yeah, I haven't commented on this yet. We've got the WCW yellow logo in the ring mat. I don't think we've had that prior in any previous Clash of Champions, if I'm not mistaken. If we did, I just haven't noticed it. But the classic WCW yellow logo, almost like a bullseye right in the middle of the ring. What did you think of Nick Patrick being the ref of the NWO? I kind of dug it. I like that the NWO had so much influence that they had their own referee. And they could do angles with it. Do you think WWE having 3-4 dome shows in different countries devalues the grand show of WrestleMania? Not really. I mean, if WrestleMania came to DC, I'd probably still go, despite, you know, it gives the fans overseas, like the Australian fans, like a chance to experience a big show like that, because how often are they going to be able to go to WrestleMania? So I don't necessarily have a problem with that. What went wrong? NWO sold out pay-per-view in 97. What didn't go wrong with that show? What went right, as Kevin Nash said? Oh, look at what Arn did there. That was sneaky. I like that. Oh, it's a title match because Bobby Heenan made that call. The champion has to beat, or the challenger has to beat the champion. The champion doesn't have to beat the challenger. Every title match, he makes that call.
And you're right. The rules, since it's a television championship, usually only go 10 to 15 minutes.
If the Bullet Club were to become a thing in WWE, what 6 members would you use? Kenny, Cody, the Bucks, Hangman, and Marty. Speaking of WCW pay-per-views, I am done making my top 10 list for my top 10 Halloween Havoc matches. You'll be getting that video at the end of the month. Turned out to be quite a funky list in a way. Like there's, I think there's some matches on there that are gonna make people scratch their heads a little bit.
He can just level you. You gotta stay away from his punches.
2 count and Arn Anderson with his
So WWE can do a big show in Australia, but not the UK. They can do a big show in the UK. I don't know why they wouldn't. Is number 1 Hogan Warrior 2? Yes, absolutely. That's my favorite match in Halloween Havoc history. Absolutely. Hogan Warrior 2. Was Bischoff in Heenan's headset telling him to say it like Vince does today? I don't know. That'd be a good question for Bischoff. You wouldn't use Finn, Anderson, Gallows, or AJ. See, they've been out of the Bullet Club for so long, I don't think of them as being in the Bullet Club. When I think of the Bullet Club, I think of the Elite, the guys you have right now. Maybe you could do a Bullet Club Civil War in WWE. Have AJ, Finn, and Anderson and Gallows take on like the Bucks, Cody, and Omega. Oh, look at that elbow. Was Cena versus Hogan ever a dream match for you? No, not really. To be perfectly honest, no. I know it would be for a lot of other people, but me personally, I'm like, I don't really care. Back body drop by Be Bad. Number 1 is Giant Hogan, man versus man, machine versus machine. Yes. The Yeti. Head scissors, takedown by Be Bad. Knockout punch, but Arn Anderson goes out of the ring. Dream Survivor Series match. Omega, Bucks, and Cody versus Balor, Gallows, Anderson, and AJ. That'd be a hell of a Survivor Series match. There was actually a rumor going around that Hogan was training for one last Mania match a couple years ago. I remember hearing that, but nothing came of it. Members of WCW Hog Wild. I don't really have much. Like, I don't remember thinking much of those shows, like the Road Wilds and the Hog Wilds. DDT by Arn, 1, 2. Arn Anderson wins it. That was an okay match. Solid match. Yeah, they're doing the NXT UK brand that they announced a couple months ago. I actually watched that monster truck thing the other day. I couldn't pay attention to it.
There's your winner, the big winner here in Vegas. Arn Anderson retains the WCW.
Being serious here, I like the look of Road Wild being outdoors and having the show go from day to night. Yeah, that was pretty neat. And a lot of those shows kind of had like a unique look to them, like Bash in the Beach. I thought was an interesting looking show. Halloween Havoc always seemed to have a neat set.
Well, we've just seen a wild one for the World Television title. I'm back in the locker room right now with the Faces of Fear, Butcher and Kevin Sullivan. And gentlemen, just moments from now here at the Clash of Champions live in Las Vegas, you're going to be facing Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage. Collectively, they are the Monster Maniacs.
The Monster Maniacs. That doesn't sound anything like the Mega Powers.
And Gene, you know me very well. We're not going into this unprepared. You see, it seems to be tilted all on our side now, Gene. Ric Flair, we hear, is going to be in the audience. We also know that there are two.
What's the most letdown you've ever been as a wrestling fan, both as a kid and as an adult?
And I also think is, Hogan, I made a deal with Savage a long time ago.
Most letdown I've ever been. As a kid, I was always disappointed that we didn't get Bret and Hogan in '93 because that was a match I wanted. And I thought it was going to happen, and we didn't get it, so that was disappointing. As an adult, the most disappointed I've ever been, God. I guess in TNA in general. Like, because I thought, like, TNA could be a solid number 2 for years, and then they just continuously shot themselves in the foot.
So there's a itsy-bitsy little piece left so he can bash it at Super Brawl.
I was disappointed by Survivor Series 91. As a 6-year-old, I was like, that was a bad show. When Benoit murdered people. and that's the line of the stream right there. I should just sign off. Yeah, I was very disappointed when Benoit murdered his family. Yes, I was extremely disappointed is the word for it. Absolutely.
Hogan, Savage, it's going to be painted in your blood. You owe me something, Savage. And Hogan, if I was you, I wouldn't have eyes anyplace else but in my back. Don't worry what's coming in front of you.
Can I ask you a question? Have you talked to Vader, Harley Race, or Rick Flair?
It's none of your business who I talk to.
Well, the reason I'm here is to ask questions. Gentlemen, I thank you very much, Butcher and Kevin Sullivan, meeting the Monster Maniacs. That's Hulk Hogan, and of course the Macho Man.
How long did it take you to not be upset watching a Benoit match after what happened? Probably a decade. Yeah, I mean, it took a while for me to kind of get over that. Oh, we're getting Alex Wright. Yay.
HULK.
It's got 8 incredible options, like Beat the Hulk, Hulk Trivia, and one of my great Hulk messages. There's always something new on the Hulk Hogan hotline. Call now.
God, that is such a blast from the past, like in the 80s and the 90s, like those old hotlines. And not just for wrestling, but just everywhere.
Back live on the Clash of the Champions, just about set for beautiful Bobby and Alex Wright. But before we go there, a very special video look at the sensational Wonderkin from Germany.
Did WCW make a storyline about Sullivan and Benoit's real life? Well, it started as a storyline and then turned real, if I'm not mistaken. Like Kevin Sullivan once joked that I booked my own divorce. Kevin Steen told a story about how Alex Wright was at the WWE Performance Center during his tryout. Yeah, Alex Wright, goddamn, WCW tried so hard to make him work, and it just, like this video, this dance video they're airing right now is really awkward. You suck, Alex Wright. He's just one of those guys. He's not like a shitty worker or anything. It's just that you just look at him and say, oh, fuck you. You suck. I hate you. Yeah, seriously, I fucking hate you. You're lame. Yeah, they always work the bathroom in their Falls Count Anywhere matches. Alex wrong. One thing about Benoit Sullivan matches, they almost all ended up in the bathroom. Yep, they sure did. Did Benoit and Nancy get together because of that story? I mean, I'm sure that probably led to certain things happening. It's weird. The show's in Caesar's Palace and none of the announcers are wearing togas. I mean, where's Bobby Heenan coming out on a camel backwards? That was literally the best part of WrestleMania 9. What are some of the characters that could have worked in wrestling but just failed? Seven and Mordecai are big ones for me. I actually included, I did a video series on top 10 wrestling characters that could have worked but failed. Seven was on that list. What else did I say? I said Doink the Clown, specifically heel Doink. Eugene was one I felt could have worked long term if they had handled it properly. Yeah, Sullivan, I mean, that's like, how do you get over something? Like, how do you, like, throw ideas out there when you're booking if one of the stories you pitched ended up in your real-life divorce? I'd be afraid to ever book a wrestling show ever again. Savage versus Anderson for the TV title this Saturday at 6:05 p.m. Eastern. What was a WWE moment that you would have hated to watch with a non-WWE fan? Katie Vick and Mae Young giving birth to a hand. Those are the top two that come to mind for me. I think I would have an easier time explaining porn.
21 pounds, and he is Germany's youngest professional wrestler, the undefeated Dust.
I remember when Alex won the TV title. I am the champion. Dance, dance, dance.
18 years of age. Very competitive with Germany.
I thought the best part of Mania 9 was Taker's entrance. Also cool. Nails. Nails was a great character, but with a great backstory. But you know, I don't know if the worker was capable. I think that was part of the problem there. What went wrong? Eugene Doink, Team Angle, lots of things.
He is quite a sensation and what an athlete. Alex Wright.
Yeah, Kurt and Jeff Jarrett had their angle, which TNA played up. Edge and Matt had their angle, so, you know, it's possible. Put those differences aside and make the story work. It was funny. I remember watching the Chris Benoit DVD back in the day. I think this would have come out in 2004. And Benoit talked about the whole situation with Kevin Sullivan. He's like, you know, Kevin Sullivan was always very professional with me whenever we had our matches. Never had a problem. He was always very professional. Almost like, I don't know, the way he framed it to me almost sounded like Sullivan would have been the bad guy if he had taken liberties with Benoit. And I guess he would have been to a degree. It's like, dude, you're the one that stole his wife. I mean, you're kind of the bad guy in this situation. You know what I mean? Like, you're kind of the not so good guy here. Doink versus Krusty. I think Doink would win that one easily because Krusty's pacemaker would act up. Sasha and Bliss hate each other in real life. I've heard that, but I don't know. Kevin put the world title on Benoit. Yes, he did. It was to keep him in the company, but still, yeah. He wanted to push him, by all accounts. He wanted to push Benoit as like the top guy. Look at Alex.
Down goes Bobby. And of course, a win against Dave Sullivan a couple of weeks ago.
Well, you just can't count.
Yeah, is that story true with Sasha and Alexa not liking each other?
Yes, a victory over beautiful Bobby. I'll be very surprised. I mean, he's got to have butterflies in his stomach. He's got to be nervous as can be. You know, the world's watching.
Does Doink have a good evil switch like Krusty? Yeah, that's why he turned face.
A man who, like you said, he's had to watch.
You know, I don't think so. And here's why. I talked to Alex earlier today, and he said that he felt very comfortable. I think that's one of the things that's making him such a sensation. That's one of the things that's making him so successful. He is not intimidated. He is not nervous. He is very calm in the ring, and that's very important.
Well, I don't know how you can't be nervous at 18 years of age. With millions and millions of people from all over the world watching. And you're in there, beautiful Bobby. You've got to be nervous.
Oh, big shot by Bobby Eaton. Bobby Eaton, one of the one of the regulars in Clash of the Champions.
Calm for a young man, and beautiful Bobby now is going to knock that calm right out of it with a big right hand, making two of them, and now the win that. Right, look at the agility.
Oh, look at that backflip by Alex Wright. See, again, like moves like that, he would do cool moves and stuff. It's just that the dance persona was just so goddamn lame that it was impossible to get behind the guy.
Tremendous high aerial moves in there with Bobby. But he's going to make a mistake eventually, and that's when beautiful Bobby will capitalize on it.
Least favorite finisher. I think I've answered that question before, but Dino Bravo's side suplex, as Monsoon would always call it, but really it was a sidewalk slam. And it looked like garbage when he did it. Like, it's the shittiest looking sidewalk slam you could ever imagine. He beat a lot of guys with it. And I was like, that looks like garbage. I don't like that. I guess you could say, like, you know, there are some obvious answers like the Cobra and the Worm and various other things. But those have a theatrical element to it. So I can at least understand to some degree why they do it. Like the side suplex never even got a pop. And I'm like, why do you keep doing this move? It fucking sucks.
Nicely done by Alex Wright. Drop down to his knee.
Alex Wright should have been in Too Cool. Maybe if he wasn't in WCW at the time, he would have been. Did you hear the episode of 83 Weeks on Halloween Havoc 98? Yes, I did.
Well, to go to school.
Could you ever forgive someone who stole your girl? Probably not. I mean, I wouldn't be like an angry asshole to that person, but I'd be like, dude, I don't need to ever see you again. Yeah, suicide was a good idea for a character, but when you have 45 different people play him, there's no consistency with it, with the performance. Yeah, another thing about like Dino Bravo's sidewalk slam thing is like I can name like a bunch of other guys that could do a sidewalk slam and make it look so much better, like Kevin Nash, and they never beat anybody with it. Vinnie Mac, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Suicide versus Curryman versus Christopher Daniels. The three faces of Daniels.
Alex and the fans, look at him. They want Alex to get back up, and that's exactly what he's doing. Showing his endurance. Hitting the ropes. Bobby ducked.
Here's Alex. I feel like this match has already gone way too long.
He hurt himself, I think, more than Beautiful Bobby hurt himself.
Both go down, hit hard, and both are wobbly.
Oh, let him get back on his feet, Bobby. Ooh.
Alex drives the fist to the gut. That time, and then Alex, the first man, the European uppercut with force again.
You got him good with that one.
The Wonderkid is in a fight, as we anticipated, with Beautiful Bobby. And up and down.
Come on, Bobby, stop him.
If Seven was a success, do you think Goldust would have ran with the character for the rest of his career? Well, no, because WCW went out of business, so probably not. And WWE, they're not going to run with the WCW gimmick. They would have just put him back as Goldust, which they did. I have both Daniels and Curryman in my Fire Pro Wrestling World. I should have them tagged. Go for it. I still have the live version of Halloween Havoc 98. During the Hogan Warrior, there was a scroll on the bottom of the screen saying switch the channel at the conclusion of the match to see the rest of the show. That's probably where the pay-per-view feed cut off. Who played Suicide first, Daniels or Cass? I believe Kazarian, if I'm not wrong.
Bobby's up in two once again. The better and Beautiful Bobby.
Better entrance, Taker at Mania 9 or Mania 14? I like the Mania 14 entrance a lot. That was the first like really big like Druid entrance, and it looked awesome.
He's going to the Alabama Jam.
He's going to show him how to do it. Beautiful Bobby. We talked about it.
That's cool. Rhea Seahorn from Better Call Saul, she liked a tweet that I sent out earlier this week. Oh, Alabama Jamma. Bobby Eaton going to win this match? Alex kicked down. All right.
Bobby hit him with the Alabama Jam, and he was on target. And the youngster showing his tenacity, his determination, getting up from it.
And this is just going to make Beautiful Bobby even mad. Smack him around. Work him over.
To the side of the head and into the gut. Alex over the top.
Oh, look at Alex go.
Alex crossbody block.
1, 2. Alex wins it. All right, that match started a little slow. It picked up a bit towards the end. Still don't like Alex Wright, though. That dancing fool. Silas Young liked my tweet when I told him that his theme song is my favorite in ROH. That's cool. The Wonder Punk.
Beautiful Bobby. Watch him go through the air, change his speed in midair, lands on top of Beautiful Bobby. I believe he hooked the crunch there for a 1, 2, 3. I can't believe it, Shivani.
WCW where the stars are, and they're in Las Vegas, and more to come live from Caesar's Palace after this on TBS.
I don't believe it.
All right, we've got a title match. Harlem Heat versus Stars and Stripes. That'll be our next contest here.
Nevada, the Clash of the Champions in front of a packed house, and millions of others, of course, across the country watching here on TBS. Ladies and gentlemen, less than a month from now in Baltimore, Maryland, at the Baltimore Arena, it's going to be Yes,
If you're a Glory by Honor, I picture you cheering for Silas during his match with Lethal. No, I would have cheered for Lethal. I like Silas, but I like him because he's a dickhead heel.
WCW heavyweight champion Hulk Hogan has been signed at that time to defend.
What are some of the missed opportunities in wrestling that still bug you to this day besides Edge in 06? I've talked about Brett and Hogan in 93. That match should have happened.
And we're going to prove that conclusively here in just a moment or two.
Missed opportunities.
He's going to be watching the proceedings. With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen,
I mean, WCW. I mean, there were a ton of missed opportunities in WCW. Right, here we go, Vader. I guess you could say Sting and Undertaker is a missed opportunity because there were a couple of times to do it and they chose not to. Or they either chose not to or Sting chose not to be a part of the company. It's probably a more accurate statement. Who's more of a man, Silas Young or William Regal? I mean, Silas Young, obviously. Do you think Triple H will allow collaborations with other promotions after Vince steps down and retires? Probably. Oh, the WCW invasion, yeah.
Can we talk about February the 19th at Super Brawl in Baltimore? You and Hulk Hogan.
Hey. Before we get going, I want to ask all of Las Vegas and the whole world that's watching, who is the man?
Vader!
Y'all know what time it is, don't you? Hogan! The demon is in Las Vegas and at Caesar's Palace. Where have you been? You aren't where you're supposed to be. You were supposed to be at an autograph session at the lobby. Vader showed up. You weren't there. I went to your room. I kicked down your door. And you weren't there. I went to the gym you were supposedly working out at. And the people said that you mysteriously left early. You've been dodging the demon, brother. But guess what? You can run no further. You can hide no more. Yeah, Vader waits for no man. I've got my ticket, and I'll be here. It can happen anytime, anywhere, anyhow.
Oh, Punk and Taker in 09, yeah. 97 Taker versus 97 Sting should have been the main event to WrestleMania 30. That was impossible. Like that was never going to happen. Carlito was a huge missed opportunity. Yep.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, as the #1 contender, Vader makes his way to his ringside seat. Let us bring the participants in the match to determine the World Tag Team Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing first, along with Sister Sherry, they are the
Wildcat Chris Harris. Yeah, that's...
from Harlem, New York.
I just heard something. Wait a minute.
Booker T, Harlem Heat.
A lot going on in the entertainment capital of the world, and it all centers on WCW. Vader made a very decisive, very definite statement to Hulk Hogan. He is here. We'll see how he race with him, but he is here, and now the World Tag Team.
Okay, I don't know what that was. Sherry looks good. God, this might be the best she's ever looked.
The World Tag Team Champions. When we come back here on the Clash of the Champions, the challengers will be introduced, Stars and Stripes, as we are coming here from Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, live on TBS and the Clash of the Champions on the Strip. Back with you live at Caesar's Palace. The Clash of the Champions continues. We are waiting the arrival of Stars and Stripes, the World Tag Team Champions. And I guess they're going to be making their way here in a minute now.
No, they're back in the dressing room area trying to build up enough courage to come out here. That's what they're doing. I wouldn't want to come out here and get in the ring with Harlem Heat. I wouldn't want to try to beat them, to take away those tag belts, knowing Sister Sherry's in the corner, knowing what I'd have to go through. Stevie Ray and Booker T.
Where are they anyway?
Well, they're building up courage. They're going to need a lot of help.
Was it a mouse? I don't know. Like, it just sounded like something bumped into something. So I don't know what caused it, but.
Wait a minute, that's not their music.
Oh no, it's the man.
Ric Flair.
Ladies and gentlemen, that music can mean only one thing. There he is, the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Woo!
His appearance and
Oh God, Ric Flair in Las Vegas. Hide all the women. What did you think of the Punk versus Hardy feud in 2009? I thought it was amazing. Great feud. I loved it. And really put Punk over the top. Hide all the women and the alcohol. Yeah.
I gotta go over and shake his hand. What? I gotta go over and shake the hand of Ric Flair.
all right, well, wait a minute. Flair's over there with Vader. Now they have hit some matches and Brain making his way over. The Nature Boy Ric Flair.
He is going to be sitting in the audience.
In all his glory. And Heenan is over there to shake the hand of the former heavyweight champion of the world.
Sting, Flair, and Angle in a debate where they all woo after each point. Yeah.
There we go. The Brain. Yeah, boy. Here's a pair for you. Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Well, Nakamura got that title first before Shibata did. Would have even be considered for it. So, and you know, first come, first serve.
The opponents, the challengers in this contest for the World Tag Team Championship. Introducing first, from Marietta, Georgia, weighing 234 pounds, Marcus Alexander Bagwell. His tag team partner from Washington, D.C., 271 pounds.
Yeah, Shibata, that's a shame that his career got cut short because he had that amazing match with Okada, and that, unfortunately, was the match that pretty much ended his career.
Here we go. The challengers are here. The former tag team champs, and this is day number 11 in the title reign of
Yeah, the Straight Edge Society. Yeah, I love that they took the belt off of him, and then they gave him a stable, and then it didn't do anything with the stable. It's like, guys, what are you doing?
was in and made the pin. But that's the way it is. It'll go down as a title win. This is the return match.
Made Shibata my IWGP IC champion, Fire Pro Wrestling World. Okay, cool.
Lily had a hand in that when she slapped Bagwell the week before, kind of took them in, deciding the match.
All right, Harlem Heat is wearing purple for this match. Looks a little weird.
Hey, how does Ric Flair look? Huh? He looks great. And he introduced me to the two ladies friends, Cynthia and Jessica. Jessica's mine for the evening. We're going dancing later on. Oh, we're going to have a ball. You want to come along? We need someone to drive the car.
So it's gonna be you, Flair, Cynthia.
Thoughts on Serena Deeb? By all indications, solid worker. I thought she played her role well within the group, but they didn't get behind the group enough, so we never really got to see all of what she could be and all of what she could do. What went right? Harlem Heat. Cool setup. Cool like presentation, and two guys that worked well with each other.
Let me also let you know, fans, he is sitting right at the entranceway, which means that it probably is going to happen here in what Vader said. When Hogan walks out, by golly, something's going to happen. And something's happening in the ring as Marcus Bagwell.
Marcus Bagwell.
Bagwell is snapped.
Oh, they're trying to fight. They want that title back. Bam.
Whips him in.
Remember when Marcus Bagwell had potential? Remember when like the idea of him like getting pushed didn't sound insane? Have you seen the Mae Young Classic shows yet? No, I haven't. I haven't had time. But the overtime project that I've been doing at work wrapped up this week, so maybe I'll have time to knock it out sometime next week.
are here and ready to go, wanting to get the World Tag Team Championship back.
Come on, Ref, do something. Or Sherry do something.
I'm sure she will. The ropes
Back body drop.
Marcus Bagwell is prepared.
He's buff and he's got the stuff.
The tag, and here we go.
The heat is on.
Teamwork, the hallmark.
I'd get up and do the Bagwell strut, but I don't feel like it.
1, 2, got a 2 count.
You gotta be 8 to 10 feet in the air. But what a great team Harlem Heat is. Sherry has them ready. She has them physically and mentally geared for this match.
There she is.
Cheering on her team. Nothing wrong with that.
No, and I agree with that. But that's not what she's been noticed for.
Okay, she's a little spunky at times.
A little spunky.
A little spunky.
What woman is it?
The Ric Flair strut and the Jarrett strut are more fun. I agree. The Bagwell strut, I feel like if I were drunk, I'd fall over trying to do it.
You don't like him because he cheats, because he does things behind people's back, because people think he's a loudmouth. He can back up everything he does. He always has and always will.
And he's been retired, okay? So he's just a spectator. Big forearm shot to the jaw.
What went right? Sherry Martel. Pure talent and intensity. Very intense woman.
Maybe the most powerful brother combination we've ever seen.
And look at these 4 men in this match here. Are they in shape?
I think that sound I was hearing, it's the fan. Like there's some click in the fan.
There is no question WCW
So no mouse, thank God.
and the top athletes in this world in pro wrestling. And you're watching them here in Las Vegas live
On the brain station.
on TBS. And he caught him in midair. Stevie Ray's power.
Stevie Ray, look at that power.
Him in the desert.
Speaking of drinking, how was that beer thing you were at? It was fun. Wide variety of beer selections. And it was also, like, the beer fest worked in a ticket system. So you go in, you pay for your ticket, and they give you 30 tickets to pay for, like, the different beers. I've been to Beer Fest where they have unlimited pours, and that turns into a shit show. It sounds better, but it turns into an ungodly shit show. And I think doing it with the ticket system, like, forces people to restrict themselves and not act like idiots. So it worked out pretty well. Sunset flip. 1, 2, no.
But Booker T got out of it. But Bagwell drives a fist in. And this is teamwork now from the former tag team champions.
If you were drunk, it would turn into an 80s Flair promo. Probably.
Back in the fall, they won the
Do you think the Wyatt family not only suffered from bad booking, but a lack of quality workers to work with at the time? Well, they were working with The Shield. I mean, God, and it was like the hottest group in the company. Why did the lights just go out in the...
decide the main event on our live.
Or was that the camera that faded?
You know that. Putting decisions in the hands of the humanoids.
What went right? HBK versus Angle for Mania 21. Two great talents working with each other. With a great build-up. I'll always have a soft spot for Bagwell. The buff blockbuster was always a favorite finisher of mine, and yeah, the blockbuster was cool. I still see people use it from time to time. Cena used to use it a lot, didn't he? You mean like Flair's induction speech for Piper? Okay, yeah, Flair was clearly drunk when he gave that induction speech. Night, night. Night, night. Don't screw with Roddy Piper. I'm like, oh, Flair, you are hammered. I mean, he was having fun. It was a party, but goddamn, he was so, like, he was 3 sheets to the wind. Oh, jumping kick there.
You know, I just looked across Shivani in the eyes of Vader. He hasn't moved. He's just focused. I don't think he's even looking into the ring. He's just sitting there, stone-faced. He's got some plan. He's something goes through his mind.
Night, night. Night, night. If you want to see something hilarious, go watch Ric Flair's induction speech of Roddy Piper from the 2005 Hall of Fame. It is hilarious. Just because it's like, you can't even understand half of what he says, but he's clearly drunk, and it's just funny as hell. Brian Knobs went back to his hotel room, woke up with phlebitis. Don't screw with Roddy Piper. Phlebitis. The better match in TNA, Unbreakable Triple Threat in 2005 or the Steel Cage match from 04? I like the Steel Cage match from 04, AMW versus Triple X. I think that's the best match in TNA history. How come we never got Chyna versus Nicole Bass? Because Nicole Bass should never be allowed near a wrestling ring because she wasn't any good. That's why. She was the female Nathan Jones of 1999. She also didn't last that long. That was the other thing. Nicole Bass, it's not like she got over and became like a big deal.
You couldn't stay awake for the all-nighter a couple nights ago because Gordon was boring. On the back, a whip in, ducking his Bagwell.
Oh, double cross body. Booker and Bagwell. God, see, look at that. Booker and Bagwell can work well with each other. I don't know what happened in that Raw match. Beer Money versus AMW. I mean, I've got a huge soft spot for both, but I think Beer Money overall was the better team. Oh, the referee didn't see the Patriot tag in, but the Patriot's acting like he doesn't give a shit. Did they just blow the spot where, like, the referee isn't supposed to see the tag? I think they, like, blew that spot or something because they're acting like it didn't happen. This match devolved fast. Oh, and Sherry just took a nasty bump. Oh, bit. That was messy. Yeah, that match started off well, and then that closing sequence, it just kind of fell apart and became a mess. That's a shame because the match was going well. Is Gary Hart up there with Heenan? Cornette is one of the best managers ever. I like Gary Hart. I don't know if I'd put him up there with Cornette or Heenan, but he's certainly a really good manager. What Raw match? The infamous WCW Raw match between Booker T and Bagwell in 2001 where the crowd completely shit on it, and it was terrible. It basically killed any plans Vince had of doing like a full-fledged WCW. That's how bad it was.
A roll up here by Marcus Alexander. He goes for the one. He goes for the two. But Gummy forgets. Well, that's shoes in your head. But there's another Harlem Heat. Amanda gets the 1, 2, 3 on it. It's party time in Vegas.
When we come back,
I have no memory of that WCW Raw match. He didn't miss much. Yeah, a week later, they brought in ECW and said Stephanie McMahon was the owner. That was the very next week. Oh, we got the Mega Power. Oh, I'm sorry, the Monster Maniacs. Their handshake. Not nearly as cool as their handshake on Saturday Night's Main Event way back in the day.
sitting over here, Vader is here at ringside, and right now we're going to hear from Monster Maniacs. You get paid to talk.
I know. I'll tell you something.
I'm sorry, like Shivani's like reaction to Heenan there was great. You get paid to talk.
Don't leave your set.
Let's go right now.
I'm sorry, that was funny. Like Shivani, that's the hardest Shivani's ever made me laugh.
Back to the locker room area with a bunch the South, Jimmy Hart is here. World heavyweight champion Hulk Hogan.
The Dream has no memory of that.
Later on tonight are going to be facing Kevin Sullivan and Butcher from the Faces of Fear.
What do they expect a WWF Raw crowd to do to a WCW match? Well, people have said the week before they were in Atlanta, which probably would have been a better place to have a WCW match.
The odds makers are betting against us, brother. Like you said, with
Brother.
hovering around the premises,
Brother.
that big bad monster buying 2 seats at ringside. They're betting that by hook or by crook, Macho Man.
Well, yeah, he made me laugh with the Yeti, but that's like an unintentional laugh. He wasn't trying to make me laugh there. This way, he actually did something that was supposed to be funny and was funny.
Jimmy Hart, my man, you squeaky little mouse. You better have eyes in the back of your head, because if that no good Rotten Vader or Ric Flair makes a move,
The Yeti.
squeal like the loudest mouse I've ever heard in my life.
Better blow a whistle.
You monster! Macho Man, I will be the lookout, baby. And the monster maniacs are ready, Mean Gene.
You gotta have somebody to watch your back, Macho Man.
I understand that. Let me warn you.
Clash of Champions debut of Randy Savage.
Boy, yeah. And the Butcher and Kevin Sullivan, the monster maniacs, are the masters of disaster. Yeah. And we know that we're going to battle against all odds. Right here at Caesar's Palace. Right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. But I'll tell you one thing. We're going to go all the way. And you guys are in the danger zone the way we are.
You're in the danger zone.
Just watch out and see what we do, what we do, what we do.
What the fuck did he just say?
Take you out here and not have to worry about you at Super Brawl.
Well, you know, brother, I've been hovering around Vegas for a few days now, man. Vader, I'm not a...
Okay, Hogan is wearing these red and yellow, like, striped tights, and it looks really dumb. Like, vertical striped tights that are red and yellow, and it's kind of an eyesore. It doesn't look right. I feel like he's trying to hypnotize me. It looks weird. It looks wrong.
It's Caesar's Palace, brother. The promoters' jaws are gonna drop when they hear the roar of the crowd, when the Macho Man and Hulk Hogan...
You want the full Shivani Heenan story? Go to What Happened When, episode 27, Working with Heenan. Yep. That I did listen to that episode. It was a great one. Do you think cracks were showing that WCW were on their way out despite being at their peak? In 98, definitely. Yeah, you could see the signs that things were going wrong. Starrcade 97 was a huge one. They had the most anticipated match in the company history, and they just kind of shit the bed in the execution.
Hey, dudes, the host is running wild on WCW.
Blah, 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 brother. Phone number no longer active. I wonder what the Hulk Hogan hotline dials to now.
There's always something new on the Hulk Hogan hotline. Call now at 1-900-737.
Phone number no longer active. I already said that.
Charges will appear on Terrence phone bill.
Oh, the WCW Control Center. Like the old WWE, WWF Control Center back in the day. What went wrong? The end of Goldberg's streak. The fact that he didn't really get his revenge afterwards. That's kind of what went wrong.
Coming up on Sunday, February the 19th at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, live from Baltimore, Maryland, and the beautiful Baltimore Arena, WCW Heavyweight Champion Hulk Hogan defends against the reigning United States champ and the #1 contender, 452-pound Vader. If you recall at Starrcade, while I was conducting an interview with Hulk Hogan back in his locker room, Vader burst into that room and took off on Hogan. I mean, he called him virtually every name in the book. Eventually,
yeah, Vader versus Hogan. This was like a must match to do. I don't think they ever clicked in the way that they ever intended.
Anywhere in the world prior to Super Bowl 5 on February the 19th in Baltimore. However, my sources tell me that Vader and his manager, Hardy Race,
I mean, you know, it didn't hurt. It didn't help that their matches were stupid, like the strap match that they would have at Uncensored 95, which has probably the dumbest finish I've ever seen in the history of pro wrestling. Did you like Savage's WCW theme song? I was okay with it. Do you think Undertaker's ministry storyline was cool and compelling TV, or just strange and uncomfortable? A little of both. Like, parts of it really worked. Other parts of it were a little out there, you know, but for the most part it worked. So Hogan would work with Vader, but not Ravishing Rick. Hey, go for it. Ask Hogan.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we approach our special...
It didn't help Vader couldn't get pinned due to his UWFI deal. Ooh, interesting. I didn't know that was a problem. The Guardian Angel. Big Bubba.
When we come back on the Clash of the Champions, yes, it's going to be a collision, Sting and Avalanche, as we come to you from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, and the Clash of the Champions.
So just don't have Vader get pinned. There are other ways to lose. I think that, didn't they do a cage match between them that Hogan won by escaping the cage? Oh, yeah. Randy Savage versus Arn Anderson. Kind of want to watch that. Now we're getting a Starrcade rematch. Sting versus, well, I almost called him Earthquake. Avalanche.
Let's not only talk about the size of him, Brain. Let's talk about the ability, the power, the determination, and of course he's mean.
Man was a sumo wrestler in Japan.
Yes, he was.
I mean, he's just one big, powerful, bad guy.
And you know, sumo wrestlers, they have the ability to have their mind somewhere and their body somewhere else. So he can shut out pain.
I don't know who could hurt him. Or who would want to.
Why has no one noticed or cared that Brock Lesnar handed Goldberg his first clean loss at WrestleMania 33? Because it was the end of Goldberg's career and it was time for him to lose clean. Called Sting! He's the man called Sting! The man called Sting!
On our Wrestling All-Nighter last Friday, which was voted the #1 Clash match of all time, Sting became a household name, and his popularity continues to grow. And now the return match against
Goldberg supposedly said he wants a match with Roman or Taker. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get it. All right, here we go. Sting versus Earthquake. Oh, he just slipped on his jacket. Oops.
Assigned the Guardian Angel. Look at this.
First of all, Guardian Angel, you count. You have to count that man. You don't get physical with him.
But he counted twice, is what he did.
Who knows what he can count to, the idiot?
I know 3 strikes and you're out. But he held that time. Sting's got to rely on the quick hit and run.
You know, I just noticed looking over there where Ric Flair was sitting, he was no longer sitting there with.
Drop kick, and out he goes. What's going to be your next What Went Wrong? You'll find out next week. How come Jenny McCarthy came out with Shawn and Pamela came out with Nash at WrestleMania 11 despite Shawn winning the Rumble, therefore winning Pamela to escort him to the ring? I don't know. Like, I know she could have been sued for breach of contract, and Shawn would have had a case there. What went right? Kane's unmasking. Not much. I wasn't a fan of that. I mean, they take the mask off. He's got shoe polish smeared all over his face. It's like, do you guys know what burn wounds and burn like injuries actually look like? They don't look like shoe polish.
Well, I know he's going to come back. He's got the two beautiful ladies here, but wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
Test of strength.
Is he going to come down and sit back with them, or is he going to occupy?
Ooh!
1, 2. Sting's up in 2. He tried to pick him up.
Sting tried to go for a body slam there, and that didn't work.
And sit with Vader. Think about that now. I don't see Harley Race anyplace.
Ooh, now he's walking all over Sting.
Rib cage of Sting at 500 pounds avalanche. I don't know, Brain. Remember,
What went wrong? WWE in 2008.
as a matter of fact, the Guardian
I can't say because I haven't watched much of it since Backlash. So, ooh, big leg drop by Earthquake. I keep calling him Earthquake. He's Avalanche here. And then he would eventually become the Shark.
But you got to think of it this way. Vader wants Hogan. He wants that championship of the world. And
Yeah, the entrance was cool where they had like the orderlies like lead him and security guards lead him down to the ring and unchain him. And they dropped that after like 2 weeks. And I don't know why, because it looked awesome.
oh, Ric Flair, he is constantly thinking. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if he don't plop down right next to Vader. What are you going to do then, Hogan?
Speaking of plopping, Avalanche is plopping Sting here in the corner right above us.
This ring's moved about 6-7 inches.
Didn't Kane's burns disappear after like a week? Yeah.
He's a mess.
Body slam, power slam.
Sting at 500 pounds. Oh my. Here's a cut.
Yeah, they retconned Kane's burns as psychological scars because, you know, you can't have, and that's why taking the mask off of Kane was stupid. If Kane was going to keep wrestling, you can't have all that makeup and prosthetics on your face to simulate burn wounds and then work a match because it's all going to just fall off your face. So it was just a bad idea. Bad idea. Down he goes. Oh! Sting accidentally headbutting Avalanche right in the dick. Why'd he hit me in the dick?
And now, come on, referee, count. Can you count that?
What are we watching? Welcome, Fernando. Right now we are watching Sting versus Avalanche, formerly Earthquake of WWE, on Clash of Champions. This is the second to last match, so right before the main event.
The Guardian Angel. Miss.
Would you agree that the beginning of Kane's downfall as a character was when X-Pac got him to say "suck it" without his voice box? Maybe. I would also say giving him a girlfriend was kind of lame when they had Tori be his girlfriend.
Here he comes again.
Stinger splash. One more.
Sting right near limit.
Boom. Didn't take her wear a mask in 1994. In 95, yes, after Mabel and Yokozuna crushed his face.
But the guy.
And he wore it until Royal Rumble 96. Body slam by Sting. Woo!
He's going for the Scorpion Deathlock now.
You can't turn him.
Scorpion Deathlock. Does he have it? I think he's got it.
He can.
Step over. He got it. Looks like he's quitting. There we go. The Guardian Angel wasn't calling for the bell. That was a solid match. Much better than I expected, actually.
He's furious. Nick Patrick
Who's in charge of this match?
Well, Nick Patrick is senior official.
Oh, what's...
Oh, and we got a little
Oh, he's got an attitude here.
Well, you know, for the last couple of months. Oh,
Sting. The side of the head of the Guardian Angel.
this is going to get interesting.
Oh, clothesline.
Clothesline.
Heel turn.
Oh, the Guardian Angel. The Guardian Angel is hammering Sting.
Oh, he nailed him.
He was the assigned referee. Nick Patrick.
Fucking perfect.
And now Sting.
What should have happened? Kane versus X-Pac at Mania 16. I agree. Yes, it should have been them one-on-one. I don't remember Tori being Kane's girlfriend. What the fuck? Yes, that actually did happen. Kane and Rudy, freaks are cool, or when the Kane character really started going down. Yes, I agree. Those were bad moves. Katie Vick didn't help either. Here comes Alex Wright and Stars and Stripes. The Cavalry. Got Alex Wright and Buff Bagwell helping me out. I'd feel safe now. If you had a kid and he's a Cowboys fan, how would you react? I would disown him and put him up for adoption and divorce his mom for producing such a hellspawn. How awful can I be here? Obviously, I kid. You guys have to remember, kayfabe, Kane was in a mental institution. X-Pac was reintegrating him into society. Yep. Yeah, let's go with that. Getting Lita pregnant. That was my favorite dumb bad angle of all time. It was bad, but I got the biggest kick out of it because it was so ridiculous. The Wedding from Hell episode of Raw is one of my favorites because of how bad it is. It's so, like, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's fantastic. What went wrong? Judy Bagwell. How much time you got? They put her on a forklift. That's what went wrong.
What in God's name went on out there? I thought you were supposed to be a referee. What is this back to the old Big Bubba Rogers?
What happened here is Nick Bockwinkel, the Commissioner of World Championship Wrestling, and the Board of Directors seem fit to send another referee. Hey, buddy, I'll call a match. I'll see it like it happens, and I'll kick some ass.
Yeah, you sided with this man here.
No, he didn't.
He said I quit. That referee right there when he's supposed to be in the ring.
Let me point out something. You got
In ring. Why do you say it like?
What are you doing?
Hey, man.
What's your language on this television?
Wow.
Bottom line is, I'm going back to my roots. I got a heart and soul, brother. Big Bubba Rogers my name, and you're going to have to answer me.
So he sided with Avalanche. No, he didn't. He left him in the Scorpion Deathlock forever. Yeah, way to side with the heel there.
You saw what happened. He sided with the Avalanche. On the flip side of this break, Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Gene Snitsky, yeah. Yeah, that angle was great. It gave us Gene Snitsky. It wasn't my fault. Kicks Baby Doll into the nosebleed sections. Oh my God, the shit they used to do back in the day. They couldn't do it. That's not PG. You couldn't do that now. Kane became the baby face. Yes, he did. Yes, it is. I've got 5 after midnight.
Coming to the ring at this time, from the three faces of fear, we have two of the most dangerous men in the sport today. First, coming in, weighing in at a powerful 241 and 1/4 pounds. From the Punk Republic, he's a man with speed, power, and
Kevin Sullivan and the Butcher. It's main event time when you know Kevin Sullivan and Brutus Beefcake are coming out.
and his partner. From the beaches of Southern California, weighing in at 258 pounds, he comes to the ring.
What's wrong with Wembley? It's bigger than any of their stadiums. How come you don't want us, man? Why don't my dad want me, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, he is the Butcher.
Do you remember on Raw when Jerry Lawler and Paul Bearer were joking about Paul impregnating Kane's mom and being out of character? Yes, that was hilarious. That was great. I love that.
Butcher and Kevin Sullivan are here. And
Remember at WrestleMania 21 when they were doing the taxi promo and so on? Yeah, all the movie parodies, those were great. I thought those were terrific. Kane bursting into the hospital room post-miscarriage and screaming, "No!" H and Katie Vick or Kane and Lita? I mean, my preference is Kane and Lita. I still hold the torch for that ship. Said no one ever, but
From the site where legends are made, Caesar's Palace of Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's get ready to rumble.
did you hear about what Matt Riddle said during the recent Progress show? I did not. Pritchard's impression of the Barrow Lawler segment was hilarious. Yes, it was.
The newest and perhaps the most exciting tag team in the world.
Yeah, the movie parodies they did for Mania 21 I thought were like a great marketing campaign that they had.
42 and 1/2 pounds.
And the red, white, and blue running through his veins. He was born and raised in the U.S. of A. You won't see this shit in NXT before hitting a Canadian Destroyer. Damn. Now we're coming off the heels of Starrcade 94, one of the most unspectacular main events for a major show I can think of, as Hulk Hogan squared off against The Butcher in the main event of Starrcade. That was a thing that happened. The May 19th bit? Yeah, I remember that. I don't think blood that's red, white, and blue is healthy. No, it ain't. Thoughts on Yoshinko, the wrestling blow-up sex doll? I have not seen the wrestling blow-up sex doll. I can't comment on it. I haven't seen it. They made Eugene play Forrest Gump. Yes, he did. That was funny. What went wrong? Starrcade 94. Main event for starters. There's Vader. Now, again, I referenced it earlier. There is a spot in this match that's fairly notorious, and I can't wait to call attention to it and talk about it. DDT has a blow-up doll that both Omega and Ibushi had classic matches with. So I guess that's almost like having a match with a broomstick, right?
The way the far side of ringside, he is watching this match as well.
You know, the critics say there's never been a team like Savage and Hogan. This is probably the greatest tag team in the history of the sport.
There's Flair, retired former champion, watching with the lovely ladies, and we are set to go.
How much did he pay for those ladies? I'm just curious.
Hogan's pointing to Vader now.
That's right.
They had eye contact. Vader just got out of his chair. That's right, Hogan. Concern yourself with Vader. Think about something else. You're in trouble. What is the extra seat for? I still want to know.
Jim Cornette hated it, obviously. Yep, I'm sure he did.
Yeah, but you can better believe that Harley Race has a lot of plans.
Well, think of it this, Shivani. In this corner is the Butcher and Kevin Sullivan. Right directly across is Vader. Right directly to the left is Ric Flair. Hogan is surrounded. You better put the wagons in a circle. This isn't the Alamo. It's not some kind of a fight like that. Something is going to happen to the Maniacs.
Savage is telling Hogan, don't worry about him over there. Stay focused on Butcher. And Hogan's concentration now is taking a back step here.
Well, you can't go into a match like that fighting your ex-best friend, knowing what Kevin Sullivan will do, and knowing Vader's watching every move you make, Flair's watching every move you make,
and the whole world watching you.
And can you trust Savage? I mean, who knows? You've got to concentrate on your opponents. You can't get derailed.
25 years ago, Cornette wrestled the Ninja Turtle in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Yes, he did. Would you have had Orton go over Taker at WrestleMania 21? No, because Orton was going to take time off after Mania for surgery. So it wouldn't have made any sense to have Orton go over and then have him disappear from TV for 4 months. Like, it just, you know. It was unfortunate timing, but it was what it was.
the next couple of minutes.
Savage is taking care of everybody here.
What magic do you think you get out of putting Bischoff, Heyman, Cornette, and Russo in a room? You'd probably get Bischoff and Heyman trying to hold Cornette back and keep him from murdering Russo. That's probably what it would turn into. Brock took time off after he won at Mania 30. Well, I mean, that's Brock. Undertaker was part-time by that point as well, so, you know. A jumping knee from Hogan. I didn't know he could get up that high. I haven't seen that interview yet. No, the Undertaker, like, shoot-ish interview. I haven't seen it, no. Yeah, Cornette's hilarious to listen to. I love listening to him because he just rants and raves like a crazy person. But, you know, just because he yells, screams, and is angry at everybody, that doesn't make him right all the time. Cornette versus Russo in a Japanese death match. Sleeper hold. Here we go. Is this the spot? All right, the Butcher just took Hogan out with a sleeper hold. Now look at what Savage does. He's trying to revive Hogan, but he's got an idea. He's got an idea. He's going to deliver the flying elbow smash to Hulk Hogan, and it wakes Hogan up. And that spot is notorious. People said that it killed Savage's finish because it basically, you know, Hogan basically no-sold it. Now, it's dumb. I'm not saying it's not dumb. What I will say is that there is an internal logic here. There's a method to the madness because every time Savage hits the big elbow, Hogan kicks out and hulks up. So it staying consistent, Savage hit the elbow again, knowing that Hogan was going to pop right back up after getting hit with the elbow. So it actually, like, they stayed consistent with their own stupidity in a way. But no, the spot's stupid. I'm not defending it. I'm just saying that I understand the method to the madness in this really, really crazy spot. Which match were you less convinced Taker was going to lose at, Brock or Henry? Henry. I knew there was no chance Mark Henry was beating him.
I was sure that Savage had turned on him.
That wasn't the case at all. Savage with 10 to the elbow to cancel the ball.
I've listened to Cornette invite Russo to a fight in the middle of nowhere with $5 grand as the incentive. Jesus. What if Hogan didn't pop back up? Well, then their team was fucked. Cornette takes his grudges to the grave, too. His hatred for Russo and Dunn will last 3 lifetimes. Probably. Not going to lie, I actually thought Triple H was going to beat Taker in the Hell in a Cell. I didn't. I was like, no way, Taker. They wouldn't be that dumb to have Triple H end the streak. Angle Taker from No Way Out 06 was way better than the Taker-Henry match. Agreed. But I guess you needed to have something for the February pay-per-view, right? Call me crazy, but that makes sense. What makes sense? What, the wake-up elbow? The revived, you know, the wake him up from being knocked out elbow? That whole thing? I was cheering for HBK at Mania 25. I wasn't really cheering for anybody. I was just kind of enjoying the match. 27 was more believable than 28, in my opinion. You talking about the Triple H Undertaker matches? Which worse reign of terror, Brock or Reigns? No, which was worse, the Reign of Terror or Brock's reign? I assume you mean Triple H's Reign of Terror. Which was worse? I don't know. I got sick of both of them, so. Do you think they should have done Orton versus Ray and Taker versus Angle at Mania 22? The problem is that Angle was the champion because Batista got hurt. And it kind of screwed up whatever their plan was supposed to be. So Angle kind of had to be in the title match with Ray because Ray won the Royal Rumble, although they did a bunch of screwy shit along the way there. So it was like Angle and Ray kind of had to be in the same match, though. Just, you know, a lot of plans had to be scrapped and everything, but, you know. Henry being managed by Melina made no sense. I don't even remember that, to be honest.
Honestly, Randy Anderson wants to disqualify anybody. He wants the conclusion of this match, one way or the other.
Savage fighting, trying to get back. He's on his feet, but he's, oh my goodness.
Yeah, but there's so much fight in this Savage. Him and I don't get along personally, but this man is probably the most intense athlete.
Angle was on Raw before that Batista injury. Yeah, he just got randomly switched to SmackDown. I remember that. I'm the world champion now, even though I was just on Raw last week. What went wrong? Eminem. They were the best tag team around. They had no tag teams to work with. They were like the best tag team act ever. Well, not ever, but like at the time. Ooh, Savage is on Dream Street. Time to move on from Eli. We've got other things to fix, and my problem with getting like a new quarterback would be you put him behind that O-line, and then he just gets hurt. So that's not going to do us any good either. That was around the time Henry tried to break the chain on the door to the steel cage and failed miserably. Did they not gimmick the chain? Like, I remember that happening, but it's like, guys, you know you're supposed to gimmick that, right? Yeah, Melina had a ton of heat backstage as well. What went wrong? CM Punk 2008 title run. They gave him the belt without a plan, and he was just kind of the guy holding the belt. They never really got behind him. Yeah, Eli, well, I mean, the whole offense looked awful, except for Saquon. And how many tackles did Saquon have to break on some of his runs? It was like, guys, could you open up some lanes? You actually opened up some lanes for him. I mean, Jesus. Could you imagine how good he'd be?
That's not true. This is why we're number one, Brain. It's action and athletes like this.
There's a lot of reasons we're number one.
Are you mad they went Saquon over Sam Darnold or anyone else? No, I'm glad we have Saquon. I like him. He's the pick I wanted. I didn't trust any of the quarterbacks in the draft, to be honest. And Rosen, some people mentioned Rosen, and I'm like, dude, I've heard that dude's a behavior problem, and I don't want that shit. I already have a wide receiver who's a mental head case. Was 12-year-old me naive for thinking the Basham brothers were a somewhat serious tag team at the time? I mean, I took shit seriously when I was younger than you, so. All right, Hogan gets a hot tag. Remember when Mark had to deadlift Big Show? He didn't help him at all. I don't remember that. Rosen and Odell equals Patrick has a heart attack. Yeah, probably. All right. Body slam by Hogan. Top rope elbow drop. Butcher's down. Leg drop time. Bibbity bobbity boo. 1, 2, 3. Thank God that's over. Yeah, the Mega Powers magic, not the same in WCW. I mean, that wasn't the worst match ever, but it was just kind of like, this feels like old hat by 95. Thoughts on Patrick Mahomes? He's been playing really well. Yeah, he might be, Yeah, I think he's been very impressive so far. But we'll see if that lasts. Here comes Vader. Goes after Savage, and now it's Vader and Hogan. I think Chikara would give Cornette a heart attack, probably. Yeah, but we can get a quarterback next year. We can get a quarterback next year and then get Saquon and hopefully fix the O-line up a little bit. Maybe trade Odell. I know I asked too much. Oh, Vader's no-selling Hogan's punches. He's like, fuck you. You got nothing. Thoughts on my Jets? They're not playing poorly overall. Powerbomb on Hogan. What went wrong? The Giants' offense. There isn't enough time. And now Hogan's no-selling the powerbomb. Should you be doing that before the pay-per-view match? And that really kills the drama for the pay-per-view match if the babyface is no-selling the heel's finisher. And Vader has a hole in his pants. He split his pants. Vader in his prime versus Brock in 03. Who goes over? Probably Brock, because Vader in his prime wasn't a Vince creation. So
it's going to be totally destroyed when these two meet in Baltimore. It's Vader time.
Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage with a tag team event.
Vader versus Suzuki. That'd be cool.
Ric Flair at ringside. Vader at ringside.
Hogan got up from the powerbomb.
What I was going to say. Gave him the power.
Just like WWE nowadays, babyfaces can't look weak. Of course not. That'd be crazy. Building heat and momentum for the heel and obstacles for the face to overcome, that's madness. You talk crazy. Stop talking crazy.
He says the champ's going down in Baltimore, and fans can see it on pay-per-view on Sunday the 19th of February. And there's a lot of time. Brady, I'm going to let the fans know a lot of time between now and the 19th of February. You can better believe these two guys are going to collide again.
Oh, yes. It's not over. There may not even be a pay-per-view on February 19th. One may be in the hospital. One may be taking a dirt nap.
Oh, yeah, the Hulkster and the Macho Man.
I can't believe the action we see here on the Clash of Champions.
All right, yes.
If I could book a dream card, I'd book Moose versus Juice Robinson just for the crowd reaction. The Juice versus the Moose.
He broke the man's back with that. I thought this was the end of Hulkamania. But no, Hulk got up. Savage came back after a tremendous beating. 2-on-1. But the big man proved his point. He's the man. He's the man. He's Vader.
Proved his point. He got his ass kicked by Hogan. Again, why would you do that before the pay-per-view match?
Hogan is alive. Hulkamania is alive. And Vegas is on fire.
Do you think Breeze would have broken the record if he played it outdoors instead of a dome? Don't know. Fair question. I don't know. Juice Robinson is pretty fun to play as in Fire Pro Wrestling World. I should check that game out. Who better, The Rock or Sting? I mean, personally, I like Sting more, but I'm a Rock fan too, so, you know, neither one. If you ask me, it's like, all right, you know, flip a coin, and the winner, you have to watch their wrestling career on a desert island all by yourself. Neither one would be bad, so. You made Shark Boy your IWGP US champ. That's an interesting choice. How long is this pose down going to be? Hogan must pose.
It's Vader. It's Vader time. Boy, Hogan's ready. They should go to an insane asylum. There's something wrong with both of them. Tony, can you believe that? Hogan lay flat on that mat. Savage climbs to the top rope, drops a big elbow on him. It gives him some adrenaline. He pops back up to his feet. I couldn't believe that. They were defeating the Savage Club. To be standing in the ring right now, it shows you what kind of a man the Macho Man is. They're both lunatics. And then Vader comes out here.
They are both lunatics. Oh, they're doing the Mega Powers and Sheik. Oh, yeah. The Mega, yeah, the Mega, yeah, the Mega Powers, yeah. Yeah, the Monster Maniacs doesn't have the same ring to it as the Mega Powers. Curry Man or Shark Boy? Curry Man because it's more racist, therefore funnier. I'm just kidding, of course. How do you think delusional Bolivera Bo Dallas going on an undefeated streak in the longest ever IC or US title reign would have gone over? I think he could have gotten some heat with it. I think that there was more to Bo Dallas. If you saw him in NXT, I think there was more to him than what he got in the main roster. But, you know, it is what it is. So that concludes the Clash of the Champions number 30. We've got 5 more to go of both. We're getting close to the end here, guys. Next week we'll be covering Clash of Champions 31 and Saturday night's main event 32, starting with the Revival in 2006. So we've got one very shitty Clash of Champions in 1995 to get through. We're still a couple of entrants away from getting the Cruiserweight division and the NWO involved in things. And the 2006 Revival would start like as like pointless string of shows that didn't need to exist, but I'm going to watch them anyway. So, but that is all I have for you now. Thank you all for staying up late with me. It is about 12:30 my time, and I am beat. I need to hit the hay and go to sleep and get up early tomorrow to do various other things, do the whole thing all over again. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for joining me for this. This was a lot of fun as per usual. And again, remember to vote if you haven't done so already. Vote for the WrestleMania matches that you want me to watch as part of the live stream in 2019. You have until February 1st of 2019 to vote. So keep that in mind. And that's all I have for you now. So y'all have a good night and enjoy what's left of your weekend.